Hi guys, Nathan here from Aussie Bush Block Story. I've got delivery of a machine that I've bought off Patrick here from a company in Melbourne. So thanks again, Pat, for delivering the machine out here to my bush block. So I'll let Pat introduce himself a little bit and just tell him where he's from and his business name and what other machines he sells.
Yeah, cool, thanks for the plug. Yeah, so I'm from ATP Machinery. We're based in Melton on Collins Road there. We specialise in compact machinery, so your smaller range of excavators, skid steer loaders, dumpers, things like that. And yeah, Nathan was fortunate enough to buy one. Well, I think I'm fortunate enough that he bought one.
So the other thing I'll mention too is that this is the 1.2 tonne. So I looked at the 1 tonne and decided that this was just had the edge and had a few upgrades that I really liked. The hydraulics on top, so you can't sort of damage them. The other thing was just the where the controls are up here as opposed to being down the front here. That was some of the deciding factors for me to choose this machine over the smaller machine. And the other thing too was that I chose the package from Pat which had the all the attachments. So you'll see me using them at some stage with a ripper, extra buckets, an auger for drilling holes in the ground, a log grabber and a few other bits and pieces as well. So at the moment you can see there's the blade and you've got a 400mm bucket on it, and yeah, I think it's got about a 1.8 metre depth in digging.
Some of the noticeable differences to say a 1 tonne machine, you know, of course the extra 200 kilos you got on the back side of it. That, you know, people go 200 kilos when you're looking at a tonne or whatever. On these size machines, on these compact machines, in small spaces, 200 kilos means a lot, especially when you've got the boom right out at full stretch.
Yeah.
So that's a bonus.
The balance weight sort of.
Yeah, and I guess as well the difference again, even though it's got the same engine as the 1 tonne that we touched on, it's got a greater hydraulic flow, you know, especially through the boom. So it's not as jerky.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that the 1 tonne won't get the job done. It will.
Yeah.
But definitely from an ergonomic perspective, you've got a bit more space there with the pilots next to you.
Yeah, well, that's probably the thing. Just mentioning, Pat Smith just mentioning about where the controls are in particular, and that was sort of one of the things that I noticed when sitting on the 1 tonne. It was just a little bit more snug in here, and I just like the fact that you can sort of sit back a little bit, especially with my lower back. It's pretty bad. I can sit back, and I've got these controls, and then obviously when I want to move the machine, I can come down to here. And that was kind of a bit of a deal breaker for me as well, finding that those controls were just in a better location. So the other thing I was going to mention is some people might be wondering what the engine is in these. So they're a coupe diesel engine. The larger engine has a Kubota in it. This one has a coupe engine, and I'll let Pat talk a little bit about that particular engine.
Yeah, so it's just over 10 horsepower. I think the one thing you get with the coupe versus your Kubota sort of arguments is that the coupe is modelled after Kubota, right? Some of the smaller machines. So you're looking at functionality, output, and then accessibility. And the accessibility side of it, what we mean by that, you've got 2 parts. One is that it's a relatively easy motor to fix if things go wrong. So having access to all of those areas is fairly straightforward.
Yeah. You've got panels, side
panels, you can just
back door, seat comes off really easy.
Yeah. The other part to it is, and this is where people had the arguments back in the 80s and 90s. Don't buy anything Japanese. Now Japanese are on top of the world, right, with their manufacturing.
Yeah.
The Chinese have been doing this for a while, and the coupe engine is around the world. It's no longer just, on one farm. So coming back to accessibility, you've got that, whether it's me or it could be, say, some of the other guys that I'm not going to name, they're all running the same coupe engine. So you've got the parts, accessibility there as well, for servicing and what have you. And I think that's a good thing, and you can't really go too wrong at that sort of price point as well.
Yeah, so I just want to thank Patrick for coming all the way from Melton in Melbourne there to deliver it. I believe that Patrick will deliver probably just about anywhere in Victoria. Is that?
Yeah. We're definitely regional Victoria. We're getting a lot of customers. Like, as I mentioned, I'm off to the stall tomorrow. We do deliver pretty much everywhere, and it does come at a cost. But
the way I look at it is hiring a trailer and fuel and time. It's probably worth getting it delivered for that, for that extra work that you don't have to do. So that's about all we wanted to cover at the moment with Patrick. I'll let him head off back to his warehouse. And if you check out their website, which I'll put in the description below, these machines are called an XHD. But like I said earlier, they've got their business, they've got a website, and you'll see all their availability of machines, the 1.2 tonne, the 1.8 tonne, is it?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, the 1.6.
1.6, and then they've got a skid steer, and they've got a sort of a dingo kind of system.
Yeah, so our range is really, that compact machinery. So you're looking at anything up to around your 2.5 tonne with the excavators. Most of what we sell are the 1.2s. Yep. They're probably the hottest one. And then the 1 tonnes. But we also do the skid steer loaders, 360, 480, 680. You start to get a bit big with those ones. And some mini dumpers as well. So, yeah, plenty of fun stuff. Yeah, oh yeah. And thanks for reminding me, I have forklifts, both electric and non-electric.
Yeah, so check the description below for their website if you want to have a look at what they've got. I wasn't sponsored by these guys at all. Patrick gave me a really good deal because I got all the attachments as well. Check them out, and thanks again.
Yeah, no worries, Nathan.
Cheers. So we're about 2 months after delivery of this. All that first section of video, the interview, that was all done a couple of months before I've done this section of review. So this section of review is my thoughts 2 months on after having this machine. Look, it's not a huge amount of hours that I've done. I've done 13 hours. So not a huge amount of time in actually operating the machine, but enough to have a bit of a play, really. That's really all I've done, is just have a bit of a play. I've done some jobs with it, not a lot. I've got a 200 tooth bucket I'm going to use to dig in the power up the front. So that's sort of my next job that I'm going to do with this. I've got the quick release there, which I'll do some videos a bit later on. I'll do some videos following up about changing to the log grabber, which I haven't used yet either. So all I'm using at the moment is this thumb grab to pick up things and pick up a few logs. But ideally, when I'm using the log grabber, I want to be able to use that to pick up big logs and to be able to cut them down. So you'll see in some of the footage, we have used this primarily for picking up logs. It's not ideal. And what I've found is that these teeth have moved slightly because we've put too much pressure on the teeth and they're not designed for it. So it's not a machine's fault. It's because I shouldn't really be using that to lift up big logs, which I have used. So I do want to change it over to the log grabber to be able to pick up decent stuff without damaging anything. The log grabber is a hydraulic one, so it'll actually fit onto this front ram. It doesn't plug into the hydraulic, the auxiliary ones. It plugs onto the front and the boom. So you'll see, I love this machine, and this is a 2 months on thing, because when I've been picking up logs and operating, because I'm still getting used to the controls, because I'm not a excavator by trade, I've barely used one. I'm finding that I'm still sort of getting used to the controls. So when the boom comes up and I pull it back towards myself, whether it's got a log in it or not, what I found is that this comes back and hits here, or a little bit, not much. I'm usually pretty careful. It sort of stops anyway, and you can't really go any further. So I'm just glad that this particular machine over the 1 tonne has got the hydraulic rams on top of the boom. Isn't that a brilliant design? So you can't damage them from underneath. You can't curl back up and damage them. So that's one really good positive design. Some of the cheaper other Chinese ones I've seen, They've got the boom, the rams underneath, and I've been told that some people bump them with their bucket and have damaged them. So I really like how that's all at the top. The other thing I really like too is that the hoses are sort of one of the weakest points really when you're talking about hydraulics and stuff. From what I've been told and my experience is that they can become weak and they can get damaged, and these are all kind of concealed inside here. So obviously they go down in there and pop out here and whatnot. You can't damage them, they're inside, or some of them inside. Obviously a little bit trickier though when you go to repair them because you've got to obviously feed them through. But you can see they all go up inside and they're nicely concealed. So one thing I don't particularly like about this machine, and it's just because of the design and the model that I bought, it's a smaller machine, is that I just can't move the tracks out. So I can't get a little bit more stability width-wise. Look, it hasn't been a problem. I haven't needed that extra stability width-wise anyway. So it hasn't really been a problem. I do like that you've got your flaps here that prevent you from using auxiliary hydraulics. Little flaps there that stop you from doing that. I do like this design of this model too because you've got your controls up next to your seat. And so what I was finding when I was testing out the 1-ton model is that these controls are actually down on the front here. And what I was finding is that you're kind of leaning forward to use them. This I like because I can move the machine around at the front here, sit back and operate the machine without bending forward, and I've got a bit of a bad lower back. So I really like that design. The other thing I mentioned too is that there's not really a proper fuel gauge. So it doesn't really tell you that it's empty. So I think that there's about 7 or 10 litres of fuel, of diesel it holds. You'll still operate the machine for probably maybe 4 or 5 hours during that time. But what I find is when I'm finished using the machine, if I've used it for an hour or a couple of hours, I'll just top it back up. I've got a couple of yellow diesel drums over there, 10 litres each. I'll just fill it back up because you're best off keeping it full. What I found is I did run out of diesel one time when we had it up the front clearing out for the fence line. And when it ran out, what I found is it was just a little bit hard to get the fuel back through. You had to sort of start it for the new diesel to get back through. So note to self, don't let it run out of diesel because they're a little bit funny to get the diesel through again. It just starts up first time, every time. Obviously this morning, like it's been sitting here for, I would say at least 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks under this tree. I haven't needed to use it and it's just been sitting there. And I'm like, oh, this thing's going to be a bit of a dog to start. But it started after probably about 10 seconds of starting it and it started up, not even that. So yeah, so that was really good. It didn't go flat, battery didn't go flat, it's all really good. Saying that, I haven't actually gotten in to do any services or any checks. I haven't done a lot of work with it, so I haven't needed to. I do like the fact that this machine's actually got your panels here, which all come off. You've got your door at the back, which is locked, so that can just unlock and hinge open. But all these panels can come off really easy. The seat flips up, this mat comes on and you can access under there. So it's all really accessible. The coupe diesel engine is all in there. It's quite small and supposedly it's not overly hard to work on. So that's about all I've got to say at the moment. I do really like the 400 bucket's been really versatile just for a smaller bucket. The thumb grab I've just been leaving there in that position because I've had to move some logs and things around at various times. The 400 bucket's been good just to clean up. But I have also used, let's just go over there. So I have used, which you'll see on some footage, the 800 mud bucket there sitting upside down. So that's been really handy. I haven't used the auger yet. So this came with a 200 auger. So that's got the hydraulic lines that plug in. I haven't used the rake, but I'm looking forward to using that at some stage when I'm going in and cleaning lots of branches and things. I've got a 600 bucket there, which is going to be awesome. I've got a 200 mud bucket there, which I'll be able to use, dig in my power lines. I've got a ripper, which I have used. Look, I say the machine's not big, so it won't pull out big stumps, but that'll be very handy for digging out roots and things. And then I've got the log grabber, which I haven't used, so you'll see that in a future video. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed using the machine. Look, it's going to save me money in the long run. I've got heaps of jobs to do with it. I would look up XHD machines. We're in Western Victoria. The closest outlet for us is in Melton, just the western side of Melbourne. So go and see Patrick there. He's been awesome to deal with. And if he doesn't have it, he can get it. They've got the golf carts, they've got the forklifts, they've got the little mini dumpers, like a sort of a dingo thing, and then they've got ones that sort of have a big bucket that you can move things. You can see that on their website. The link will be in the description for their website. I'm sure he'll do you a good deal, Patrick, when he mentions Nathan at Aussie Bushblock Story. If you give him a message, go and have a look at the machines. You can go and have a bit of a play what he's got in stock. And he also does delivery within Western Victoria. He was happy to deliver it for a small fee. Yeah, so go and check him out. XHD is the brand. So go and check out their website if you're interested in one of their machines. Super happy with them. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Catch ya.